Hello everyone, I'm Chad Lawson. I'll be judging the North 49 Finals for 2024, and I just wanted to make a little video on the specimen shoes, some measurements for everyone, and why I chose the shoes I did, and I just hope it helps everybody out. So first off, we got the live shoeing class. I think we're going to go with 3/4 fullered hammer drawing clips. If it's front foot, it'll be a toe clip. And if it's a hind, it'll be quarter clipped, and it'll just be pleasure fit, so nice and simple. The next class we'll talk about is the Eagle Eye. So the Eagle Eye class is a concave sport horse bar shoe. It's appropriate section, appropriate nail. It does have a rolled toe, and the reason why I chose this class, or this shoe for this Eagle Eye class, is I think a very important skill for farriers to have is to be able to make a bar shoe to fit a foot very quickly. So I think there's gonna be about 15 minutes in this class. You'll have to check the program. But this way, if you're out on the road and a horse needs a bar shoe, you don't have to call the supply store and order a shoe and either have it shipped out or go to the supply store, and then next week the horse gets a bar shoe. You could just cut some steel, 15 minutes later you got a shoe that's ready to go on a horse's foot. And the only inconvenience to your life is you just have to call the next client and let them know you're going to be 15 minutes late. So like I said, I think it's a very important skill for a farrier to have, to be able to make a bar shoe to fit a foot very quickly. Next class we have is it's a speed shoe class. It's 30 minutes. So I have a pair of shoes. For this, these are what I'm gonna call Western versatility hinds. So they're made out of 3/8 by 1, 11 inches. They have a masselet clip and a good safe toe, and they are 5 1/8 wide. And if I can put my ruler right where I think the middle of the toe is, they're 5 5/8 to the lateral heel, and about just over 5 1/2 to the medial heel. They're punched for a hybrid 4. Pair of them. So the clips line up and you can see through all the nail holes. They are forged down, so they are 5/16 thick. The toe is 1 inch. The lateral heel is about 7/8. The medial heel is just over 3/4. And the reason why I chose these shoes is because when I had to make specimens, I had these shoes beside my forge because I had a horse that wore these shoes and I needed to make new ones for him. So I made a pair of new shoes for the horse, and I thought they turned out quite good, so they became the specimens. So this particular horse, I'm calling it a Western versatility shoe because you can use it in a lot of Western type sports. So this particular horse does cowboy challenges, and he wanted a bit of slide, but he didn't want full sliders because going over the obstacles, if you have all that length sticking out the back, then I think they're gonna ping him off on the bridge or going over the poles or whatever, backing through the obstacles. So this shoe is fit like a normal shoe, but it is a wider web. It does have the toe clip, and it is safe. And you know, you can take the old shoe and the new shoe, and they pretty much pair. So I think that's kind of a good thing to do, is if you have a horse that has a specific shoe like this, you just take the old shoes, set them beside the forge, and then you can make the new shoes, and then they easily go on the horse the next time you see them. It's almost like a reset because you fit the new shoes to the old shoes. And this particular horse, he's got fairly upright hinds, and his hind feet are quite wide. So that is put into the shape as well. Got a fairly bold toe, and I think we all have quarter horses that look like that. Next class. So the forging class. I got toe cap hind, it's plain stamp. We'll go through the measurements. 5 1/8 wide. If I can figure out where the toe would be, it's 5 3/4 to the lateral heel. 5 1/2 to the medial. The toe cap, if you measure from the ground to the top, it's, I'm gonna say about 1 1/8 tall. You'll see it's only got 4 nails, so 2 aside. So I purposely didn't put toenails in it because this horse is obviously scrubbed off his toe. So I feel like there's no foot there to put a toenail in. You know, one thing you may do is you may put this shoe on, and because this is all scrubbed away, you may have to use some filler like Equithane or Superfast or something. I've used this shoe a few times in my career, and it's a really handy shoe to be able to know how to build and get on the horse. And it is nice because you can just take the stock and you can make the toe cap, and when the toe cap's in the middle, you can just cut off the length to what you need, and it's just like a normal shoe from there. It's made 3/8 by 1 and 12 inches. And the nail that fits is an E5. So, yeah, like I said, it's a very good shoe. You're not going to use it often, but it is a shoe that you should be able to know how to make just in case you need to put it on a horse. And that's also a shoe you can't buy at the supply store. So it's definitely a skill set a farrier should have. And that's what I'm really trying to do with this shoe list, is I want to develop skill sets that farriers should have. So I wanted to have practical shoes. So the next shoe we're going to talk about along that lines is, we got a straight bar shoe, 3/4 fullard, and you'll notice it has 4 nails. It's got 2 aside, and it also has 4 clips. So and if you look closely, you can see they're Massillette clips. So broken coffin bones, I think any farrier who's been shoeing horses for a while has had a horse come across with a fractured coffin bone, and you're going to put on a bar shoe with 4 clips. I've had a lot of success with this. I've probably done it half a dozen times in my career. The horses seem to always get better. I've never used casting material, and I've never even put a pad or anything under them. I've just shod them with the bar shoe with 4 clips, and they've done well. And the critics are going to look at the shoe and they're going to be like, well, yeah, a horse with a broken coffin bone is going to get a bar shoe with 4 clips, but no one's going to put 4 Massillettes on, which isn't true because I've seen people do it. And the other thing is, yeah, sure, when I've done in the past, I've just used a cross peen or a cone peen, but now that I've figured out how to make this shoe, should this situation come across, I am going to use Massillettes, because one reason why we forge horseshoes is because it's a lot of fun. And, you know, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. We were talking about bar shoes, and I said, yeah, you know, if you get an opportunity to shoe a horse with bar shoes and get paid for it, that's one of the best things in the world, because at a competition, you're going to pay $400 in entry fees to make shoes for fun. So if you get the opportunity to make something like this in your day-to-day and get paid for it, that's the best thing in the world as far as I'm concerned. We're going to go through the nails. It's a combo 5, same as the French hind. The width is 5 1/4. The length, if I measure it like this, is 5 5/16. What else do you want to know? The frog plate is 1 3/16. The bar, it's a 3-inch bar. The section is just under 7/8 of the toe, but it's like a 3/4 section. It's made out of 3/8 by 1, and it is drawn out. I did bump the section from about, here to here, and then I started drawing out my clips away from it. There's 13.5 inches of 3/8 by 1 in this shoe, and I do have. If you look at my Facebook, or hopefully North 49 will post it as well, I do have a shoe board made. Actually, I got a better idea. I'll just I'm going to show you the shoe board right now. I'll just put the camera over to it. So we're going to start out with 13.5 inches of 3/8 by 1. Quick bump in the middle, and then we're going to draw out for the clips. Then you can see we bend the shoe around and it's got the bumps on the side. Weld your bar shoe and draw out the clips on the flat. Put some fullering in. Then you can see what I've done is I've taken a flat bottom fuller and I've cut the clips and then I flipped them up. And then you have. All right, so I hope this helps. If anyone has any more questions, I'm very open to answering them. I know one thing, when I've judged before, people have asked, oh, well, are you going to care about this, that, or the other thing? So, for example, measurements. Are you going to care about measurements, or are you going to care about nail fit? And every time I get asked one of these questions, I always struggle to answer it, but I thought about it, and I want to put this in the video, is when you're making specimen shoes for competition, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So therefore, just make the specimen. So I've gone through and I've given you all the measurements, so try and hit the measurements. Make sure the nails fit. Make sure the nail placement is good. And I think when people are asking the question, are you going to care about measurements? I think they're trying not to lose instead of trying to win. So if I've given you a measurement, hit the measurement. And maybe it comes down to that, maybe it doesn't. But it's not like a certification where you just have to get above the bar. It's a competition. So if I have 2 shoes and the nail placement is good on both, the nails fit on both, they're flat, then it's going to come down to measurements. So if I were you, if since I've given the measurements, hit the measurements. Nail fit, nail placement, flat. Make sure the details, the section, so I've said if it's an inch wide at the toe, make sure you hit that inch. And if the shoes that have the least amount of mistakes and are closest to the specimens are going to win. I'm going to judge it like I'm going to have all the shoes out on the table, and I'm going to pretend that I've got a horse that needs, say it needs this toe cap shoe. And I'm going to pretend I've got a bunch of them in my rig ready to go for this horse. And I'm going to choose the one that is the least amount of work to get on the horse. That's what's going on first. And then second, third. So just get it as close to the specimen as you can and make good horseshoes. In the shoeing, it's going to come down to good horseshoeing. In the trim, symmetrical knife work, flat. I like a Goldilocks trim, so it's not too short, it's not too long, it's just right. And make a nice shoe for it, good nail placement, good nail fit, flat. Fit, like I said, we're going to probably just do pleasure fit unless we change when we see the horses. The horses, I assume, are going to be the same horses as we had last year. And so they were just lesson horses. So fit your heels center stock. Make sure your clips are burnt in and flush. And when it comes to clinching, sensible nailing. A third, halfway up the foot is fine. I don't like to see nails driven to the taper. I don't think that's a strong clinch. And I think it's maybe a bit riskier when you're nailing. And clinches, I like to see them slightly longer than they are wide and very smooth.